action of staying where one is or delaying action till a particular event called waiting. Waiting is one of those wait. But then, some way, somehow, we just have to. Hold on. What have you been doing while awaiting this episode of The Bookshelf? My name is Damilola, and I will tell you 3 productive things to do whenever waiting pops up. 1. Second, read. The third, life is full of delays and distractions. Don't allow yourself to get caught. Today on the show, we will be glossing through the pages of experience. Your life's experiences gives you several advantages: clarity, refined skills. The more things you experience personally and professionally, the more aware you become about what makes you tick and what doesn't. We'll take this breathing. I'll be back to tell you more on experiences and our guests.
Adolf Hitler exudes a gale of bile from millions of people who were victims of his autocratic rule and love, from fanatical supporters of his imperial aggression. Born April 20, 1889, at a small Austrian town sandwiched between Austro-German frontier, Adolf Hitler spent most of his childhood in Linz, the capital of Upper Austria. As a very prominent stakeholder in the horrific events of conflicts in Europe, Adolf Hitler could simply go off as the sole mover of the Second World War. 40 million Jews were murdered in the gas chambers of various Nazi camps on the orders of Adolf Hitler. Thousands of Adolf Hitlers still live in Germany today, but the majority of them are elderly and were named before the end of the Second World War. As the name pales into vanishing rarity, 13 children, according to official records, were named Adolf Hitler between 2006 and 2013. Western Spring Television identifies Adolf Hitler as a major character in history. western Nigeria. His father was a district head and heir apparent to the Sultanate throne from the house of Usmanu Danfodio, a religious and social reformer who brought the Habib dynasty under the Fulani Caliphate at the beginning of the 19th century. Ahmadu Bello raised the bar of political consciousness and participation when, in 1944, he engineered the establishment of the Northern People's Congress (NPC) as the first political party in northern Nigeria and the rallying point for politicians in the region before independence. History will not forget Ahmadu Bello for his charisma and political sagacity, which provided easy passage for his kinsmen to assume political and administrative positions in Nigeria's post-independence era. The distinguished elder statesman and Sardauna of Sokoto has his face on his country's 200 naira currency as a mark of honor to one of the architects of Nigeria's independence. Western Spring Television identifies Ahmadu Bello as a watershed character in history. The 1914 Amalgamation Treaty is synonymous to the birth of Nigeria. Frederick Lugard, a British Army captain and an outlaw who struck gold in Africa, became the instrument used by destiny to make it happen. The amalgamation of Nigeria was designed for economic reasons by the colonial administration to offset Northern Protectorate budget deficit by Southern Protectorate surplus returns. The amalgamation had ab initio created imbalance in the economic political structure of Nigeria and was responsible for the persistent hiccups in the efforts to forge a united country. Till today, Nigeria's amalgamation was labeled as the mistake of 1914 by native northern conservatives who neither wanted it nor contributed anything significant to its sustenance. Western Spring Television identifies with Amalgamation Treaty of 1914 as a watershed event in history.
You're welcome back. It's still the bookshelf right here on Western Spring Television. We're talking experiences. There's always a story behind experiences, and reliving those moments gives an opportunity to reflect on and appreciate that period in our lives. Experience is social. Unlike things, experience can be shared with others and then brings people together. People experience life differently, having different values and motivations. A study found that simply talking to someone who is enthusiastic about a topic increases your own enthusiasm for it by an average of 50%. Another study found that listening to someone talk about their favorite books, for example, makes us more likely to read that same book or other books by the same author. Experience makes us happier than material goods. It cannot be replaced. Neither can experiences be stolen. People who invest in experiences are not only able to gain a fuller and richer understanding of themselves, they also become better equipped to handle whatever challenges life may throw at them in future, and even help others navigate similar tracks. The sooner we adapt, communicate effectively, and think critically about our surroundings, the better prepared we'll be for anything that will come our way. My very special guest today on the bookshelf defied all odds, breaking the jinx to be the first female author on the show. And she's talking about what loads of the feminine folk are grateful for or are scared of. We're going to be ushering in and milking as much courage as we can from this Amazon. Halima Ali Bankole holds a diploma in creative writing from the Writers Bureau, Manchester. She has a postgraduate diploma in education in view. She holds a Bachelor of Technology degree in quantity surveying from the Federal University of Technology, Minna. She is a fellow of Ebedi International Writers Residency and a member of Association of Nigerian Authors, Osun State Branch. A writer, author, publisher, and youth mentor, Halima also publishes children's literature books. She has to her credit a compilation of short stories by teens after a short story contest, alongside a compilation of short stories by primary school pupils. Halima finds time to organize short story and speech giving contests. It is exciting to have you on the bookshelf, Halima.
Very happy to be here too.
So let us start with your first course of study, quantity surveying. Do you still practice that?
No, I don't. I don't practice quantity surveying anymore. I've moved to the area of my writing and school, educational line.
Education. Well. But there was a time you did practice quantity surveying.
Yeah, the beginning learning stage of it is after school, immediately after school.
And then you found another love. I thought they said first love was always the hottest. All right, let's move on. Knives and Nappies. How did this all start?
Well, Knives and Nappies actually basically about my writing. My writing started like just a hobby.
Okay.
Like I just find relief in writing what I feel and like that. So Knives and Nappies is a book about cesarean section experience by women, called The Journey Through the Stories of Cesarean Birth Stories, right? So when I was going to have my first cesarean section experience, I didn't expect it. So it was very shocking. And so I had to write about that experience. So that was the birth of Knives and Nappies, just what's it called? Expressing my shock at going through that experience.
Okay, now, I mean, having to share something so private, because you get to hear mothers, go, okay, is it anybody's business? In this climb where women who go through such are looked upon as maybe they're not so strong. I mean, you came up with this based on, is it the experience, that gave you the courage, or is it the experience or the failures of others that gave you this courage to go ahead and do it?
Well, it's a combination. It's a combination, actually. My own experience, it made me to document what I was experiencing. Then when sometimes until you actually experience something, you don't really have a clear picture of it. So having gone through the experience, I met other people that had the same experience, and I realized that I also what I knew about cesarean section before was only the myth about it, the stories around, but not the facts. So having gone through the experience, and I had some facts, and I thought that I don't want to keep this facts with myself. I want to share with others so that maybe next time, if they have to go through the experience, that first experience won't be as shocking as my own first experience.
And then you started making contacts. I mean, looking at the choice for the books forward, Dr. Wale Okedinran, he's currently the Deputy Secretary General Africa for the Union of Writers from Africa, Asia, and Latin America. He's a doctor and a writer. Was that deliberate?
Well, you will say more about that. But is a doctor? What do you mean deliberate?
Was it deliberate? You getting a medical practitioner?
Oh yes, it was.
You know what we're talking. We said you're coming on to talk as an author, not an authority.
Yes.
So you got an authority to do your forward.
Exactly. It was very deliberate. Also because Dr. Okedinran is a mentor. He's the founder of Ebedi International Writers Residency, where I applied, and I got the opportunity to be there for the residency program, and that was actually where I completed the book, the Knives and Nappies book. So I reached out to him that I'd really be honored if he could do the review of this book, since I completed it while being at his residency, and he obliged. And yes, so as a writer and a doctor, I was able to help me give that review. Yes.
And I'm hearing from you now that anything worth doing at all is worth training for.
Exactly.
I mean, you want to write, and then you had to, apply at different institutes to get your skills fine-tuned.
Exactly.
A whole lot's happening for you at the same time. Okay, now the research part. When did you delve into that aspect? Was it immediately you were told, or after the procedure?
Oh, okay. The book spread took so long, actually. So that's why I had to, in fact, I have to say that the book is what pushed me to apply for the residency. So my husband would say, this book you are writing is taking too long. I actually saw the advert, and he came up with the idea that why don't you apply for this residency? I was like, how is it possible? I'll leave my kids. And boy, he was very supportive and said that I should apply. so that I can finish this book once and for all. But maybe other distractions of day-to-day activities, I wasn't getting to finish the book. So that was why I applied to do that. So along the line, during the years that it was taking that long, I was trying to browse the internet as well. So the book is divided into my research on the internet. I know that you cannot just rely on the internet. So that's why I reached out to like doctors as well that are into the practice. So that's the second aspect. The first part is my research. The second part is the doctors I reached out to, I interviewed.
From the professionals.
Yes, that's actually do the surgeries, this cesarean sections. Then the last part were the women that I've been talking to before I had my experience and after. So that's so that's the 3 parts that make up the book.
Now, when you talk about the whole thing being so long, what's the so long? Like 2 months, 3 months, 3 years?
I can't say the number of years exactly, but number of years. Yes, and it was just because, you know, the whole idea was not the book per se. It was just about documenting my experience and, you know, so, and then I had all that things doing. That was what made it stretch for that long.
And then you said before you went in for your procedure, you got to talk to some women who had undergone such. And then you also got to speak with women who had undergone such procedure after your own procedure. Before then you had your experience. Then you still got to speak with people. Is there a WhatsApp group for?
No, you know, but just as a female, as a woman, you have acquaintances, friends, and once in a while, these things just pop up in your conversation. And so when this experience happened, and I thought, okay, I remember that somebody ever mentioned that she had this experience. So I went to look her up. Then as it's happening, somebody has a new experience. So that's just it. There's no WhatsApp group for people that have
Okay, now, very quickly, we want for you to take us through the process. So you got married, you got pregnant, and you're so excited, you're so expectant. I mean, going for your scan, for example, what does it really look like? And then boom, the bombshell. Let's take it from there.
So the experience made me realize that there's actually something called emergency cesarean section. There's an elective like that. So what happened in my first experience was an emergency because I didn't plan for it. We're trying to go through the usual process that everybody expects, the normal, without assistance by surgery. So, however, the doctors advised that the only other route I just had to go through for my sake and for the baby was to have a cesarean section at that time. So that was what happened.
Was there a denial at that period, or you just wanted, just help me, help me?
Because at that point, it was just like, let's just get this done. So that was it. But so that's part of it. Like, there were unnecessary fears at that time. So after that first experience and my research, I realized that some fears I had then were unnecessary. You understand? And I feel, and from people I've interacted with, I've come to realize that if you are better prepared for it, even if you are going to have an emergency and you have a mind that, okay, emergency can happen, just that's life, things happen that you don't want to. But if you know that there's a chance for an emergency, when it does happen, you are better mentally prepared for it. And then it will be easier than somebody that is not prepared for it at all.
Now, you've been talking about my first experience. Does that mean you've had another?
Yeah.
And then you were better prepared.
Yes.
Now, what was it? Because for the first one, you didn't really have that much time. At this other experience now, you seem to have at least that window period. What was it like for you?
The second experience was an elective.
Okay.
Yes, because from the first experience, after seeing what's everything, so I just realized that at this point in time, the elective was not going to be a bad idea. So with my husband, we decided and we went for it. And yeah, that better outcomes. Yes.
It's really been an interesting conversation, I should say. Let's talk about the purchase, of the material, knives and nappies. Where can we get the book?
Knives and nappies, you can look it up online on Seller. Seller.co, it's there. So you'll be able to get the book there.
And then earlier on, reading through your profile, we had that part where you organize contests and all that.
Yeah.
For those who want to know more about this contest, there's loads of young souls out there, maybe even siblings of children who were born, you know, from this procedure, and they also want to write down, because you're writing your experience as a mother. Now they would want to write their experience as the older sibling, you know, having to see it from their own angle and wanting to put it out, and okay, we want to do this as well. The mandate for 2023 on the bookshelf is for you to write a book, not just read a book, but also to write it. How can they follow up from the contest? It's open to teens and children in primary schools generally?
Yes. So I'm on Facebook, Pen Publishers. You can find me on Facebook, Pen Publishers.
Pen. What you write?
PEN, yes, Pen Publishers. So like annually, I try to organize these contests. It might be a writing contest.
Annually.
Yes,
Awesome.
Annually. It might be a writing contest or a speech giving contest. Like this year, we'll be looking at a speech giving contest for secondary school students. So I would like to say that my writing is not just limited to the knives and nappies. I write children's literature and everything other things as well. And being a member of Association of Nigerian Authors is very helpful. So that's one thing that I would like the younger ones to know, that sometimes being a member of an association like Association of Nigerian Authors could also help you. You meet all the people, they are a team, they mentor you, and they'll advise you and all of the likes too.
Belonging to a group that, you know, we talked earlier on about having to listen to someone, and iron sharpens iron. Really, you tend to become the information that you get to receive. So what more are we expecting from Halima in the nearest future? The contest, I know that's coming up.
Yeah, the contest will continue. And we're looking at working with, like, I've been doing the contest for some time now. These young people are getting older. So I'm looking at how we can mentor them more. And I also believe in the aspects of writing, or let's write rights. So you write to make a positive change. So I'm looking in that direction. So.
Thank you very sincerely, Halima Ali Bankole, for being on the bookshelf with us today. Now, dear listener, as the production crew draws the curtain on today's broadcast, bear in mind that when it comes to investing in yourself and the future, experiences are always better than things. Don't just go through them, grow through them, and the plus, document them. Remember our mandate for the year? Thanks for sharing the bookshelf with me today. My name is Damilola Raphael, and I'll see you next time.